The notification sound from my phone cut through the hospital's antiseptic silence like a rusty blade. I'd just woken up from what the surgeon called minor arthroscopic knee surgery, though my leg felt like it had been run over by a freight train. Kate wasn't in the chair beside my bed where she'd promised to wait. Instead, there was a Facebook notification glowing on my screen. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. My wife had tagged herself at Murphy's Bar with some guy named Adam Foster. The caption read, "Finally free to live my best life. New beginnings, living my truth." I stared at the post, my brain still foggy from anesthesia. The timestamp showed she'd posted it exactly 23 minutes after they'd wheeled me into surgery. While I was unconscious, having my torn meniscus repaired, Kate was apparently celebrating her freedom with another man. I typed a single comment. "Congrats." Within seconds, my phone exploded with notifications. Direct messages flooded in from friends, coworkers, even my mother. The post was already being shared, screenshot, dissected. Kate's best friend Lindsay had immediately commented, "OMG, delete this now," followed by 3 panic face emojis. Too late for damage control. My phone buzzed with a call from my boss at Dataflow Solutions. "Eli, buddy, you might want to check social media. Your wife's post is making the rounds in our company chat. This is awkward." I hung up and laughed, a bitter sound that echoed off the hospital walls. Kate Merrick, my wife of 4 years, had just publicly humiliated me while I was under the knife, but she'd also handed me something valuable, evidence of exactly who she really was. The nurse came in to check my vitals. "Your wife stepped out about an hour ago," she said cheerfully. "Said she'd be right back." I'm sure she did. By the time I hobbled through our front door on crutches, Kate was drunk and giggling on speakerphone with Lindsay in our living room. Designer suitcases sat open on our cream-colored sofa, half-packed with her clothes. "Oh, Eli's home," Kate announced, not bothering to lower her voice. "Lindsay, I'll call you back." She looked stunning as always. Blonde hair perfectly styled, makeup flawless, despite the wine glass in her hand. Kate worked in marketing at Pinnacle Strategies, and she treated every moment like a photo opportunity. "How's the knee?" she asked, her tone suggesting she was inquiring about the weather. "About as good as our marriage, apparently." Kate rolled her eyes. "Don't be dramatic. We both know this hasn't been working for months." "Months?" I leaned against the doorframe, studying her face. "How long have you been seeing Adam?" "That's not important. The hotel receipts in your purse suggest otherwise." Her face went pale. I'd found them while helping her pack. Or rather, while pretending to help. Kate had always been careless with evidence, assuming I was too trusting to look. "You went through my things?" "You left your purse open on the kitchen counter. The receipts fell out. Marriott downtown, room 412, every Tuesday for the past 3 months. That's when you said you had those late client meetings." Kate's composure cracked. "Eli, look, I didn't mean for you to find out this way." "You mean you didn't plan to post about your freedom while I was unconscious? That was spontaneous?" She had the decency to look ashamed for about 2 seconds. Then her phone buzzed with a text, and I saw Adam's name on the screen. Her face lit up. "He's coming to pick me up," she said, grabbing her suitcases. "Perfect. I'd love to meet him." 20 minutes later, a silver BMW pulled into our driveway. Adam Foster stepped out looking like he'd walked off a magazine cover. Tall, dark hair, expensive suit even on a Saturday evening. He was younger than me, maybe 28 to my 32, with the kind of confidence that comes from never being punched in the face. I watched from the window as Kate ran to him, suitcases forgotten. They kissed in our driveway like teenagers, completely oblivious to Mrs. Worthington across the street, who was pretending to water her already soaked garden while recording everything on her phone. I opened the front door and called out, "Kate, you forgot your bags!" Adam looked up, sizing me up. I could see him taking in my hospital bracelet, my crutches, my obvious disadvantage. His smirk said everything. "You must be the husband," he said, walking toward me with his hand extended. "Adam Foster." I shook his hand, gripping just hard enough to make him uncomfortable. "Eli Merrick, I've heard so much about you." "All good things, I hope." "Oh, definitely. Kate tells me you work at Pinnacle, too. Junior strategist, right?" His smile faltered slightly. Kate had obviously painted me as some clueless blue-collar guy who wouldn't know a corporate hierarchy from a ham sandwich. She'd forgotten that I'd helped her prepare for interviews at that company, that I knew exactly how their structure worked. "That's right," he said. "Must be nice having those afternoon strategy sessions with Kate. Very hands-on approach to team building." Kate stepped between us. "Eli, don't." "Don't what? I'm just making conversation with your colleague." I looked directly at Adam. "You know, Kate's always been dedicated to her work. Sometimes I barely see her. Tuesday afternoons especially. She's always so tired after those long client meetings." Adam's face went red. He knew I knew. "We should go," Kate said quickly. "Absolutely," I agreed. "But Adam, quick question. That's a beautiful car. BMW 340i?" "Yeah, thanks." "Fully loaded? All the electronic features?" "Most of them, why?" I smiled. "Just curious. I work in IT, so I'm always interested in technology, especially wireless technology, remote access, that kind of thing." Adam looked confused, but Kate was tugging his arm. They got in the car, Kate's suitcases still sitting on our porch. As they pulled out of the driveway, I pressed a button on my phone. Adam's car alarm started blaring and didn't stop. I watched them sitting in the driveway for 10 minutes, Adam frantically pressing his key fob, Kate getting increasingly agitated. Finally, they got out and took Kate's Honda instead, leaving the BMW shrieking in the street like a wounded animal. Mrs. Worthington appeared at my side. "That's quite a noise," she said innocently. "Technology," I said. "Sometimes it just goes haywire." "Shame about Kate," she continued. "I've been meaning to tell you, I've seen that young man's car in your driveway quite a bit, usually around 2 in the afternoon. I was going to mention it, but I thought maybe he was doing some work on your house." "He was doing some work, all right. Well, if you need anything, dear, just holler. I've got plenty of time to keep an eye on things." Mrs. Worthington was 73, retired, and had nothing better to do than monitor the neighborhood. Most people found her annoying. I was beginning to see her value. "Actually, Mrs. Worthington, if you happen to have any photos of Adam's car in my driveway, I'd appreciate copies, for insurance purposes." She winked. "I'll email them tonight." Monday morning brought a flood of text messages. Kate's carefully curated social media presence was crumbling. Someone had leaked screenshots of her private messages with Adam to the Pinnacle Strategies Company chat. Messages that included detailed complaints about her boss, crude jokes about clients, and explicit photos that definitely violated the company's social media policy. Kate called me screaming, "What did you do?" "I'm at home recovering from surgery. What could I do?" "Those messages were private." "Were they?" "Because I'm looking at them on Facebook right now. Looks like Lindsay shared them in the Pinnacle employee group. You might want to call her." The truth was simpler than Kate suspected. I hadn't hacked anything. Saturday night, while she was packing, Kate had left her phone unlocked on the kitchen counter. I'd simply forwarded her most damaging conversations to my own phone. When Lindsay had called Sunday morning, drunk and jealous after seeing Kate's romantic weekend posts with Adam, I'd anonymously sent her the screenshots. Lindsay had done the rest. "Lindsay wouldn't do that," Kate insisted. "Maybe you should ask her." An hour later, Kate called back, crying. She said I embarrassed her, that everyone at work is talking about us. Imagine that. "Eli, please, can you help me fix this?" "Fix what?" "You made your choice." That evening, My brother Mason stopped by with beer and takeout. Mason was everything I wasn't. 6'4", built like a linebacker, hands permanently stained with motor oil from his auto shop. He'd never liked Kate. "So she really posted that while you were in surgery?" he asked, shaking his head. 23 minutes after they wheeled me in. What a piece of work. Mason opened 2 beers and handed me one. "What's the plan?" "No plan. Just consequences." Good. Because that pretty boy's BMW is still sitting in the street with a dead battery. Funny how that happens. I looked at him. "Mason, I didn't do nothing permanent. Just disconnected a few things. But if you want permanent solutions, I know people." "No, nothing illegal, nothing violent. I want them to destroy themselves." Tuesday afternoon, Mrs. Worthington called. "That Adam fellow is back. Parked down the street this time, walking up to your house. Kate's car is in the driveway." I grabbed my keys. Time for a conversation. I found them in my living room, Kate crying on the sofa while Adam paced like a caged animal. They'd been fired. Both of them. The leaked messages had been the final straw after Kate's public Facebook meltdown. "This is all your fault," Adam said when he saw me. "My fault? I didn't send those messages. I didn't post that photo. I didn't sleep with another man's wife while he was in surgery. You leaked those screenshots." "Did I? Can you prove that?" Adam stepped closer, his hands clenched. "You think you're so smart?" "Smart enough to know you're trespassing in my house." "Our house," Kate interjected. "Your name isn't on the deed, Kate. You insisted on keeping your maiden name, remember? For your career." The irony was delicious. Kate's feminist independence had been about image, not principle. Now it left her with no legal claim to anything we'd built together. "You can't just throw me out," she said. "I can, and I am. You have until Friday to get your things." Adam moved toward me again, but I stood my ground. "Go ahead," I said quietly. "Put your hands on a man recovering from surgery, in his own home, with witnesses." Mrs. Worthington was visible through the front window, her phone obviously recording. Adam's face went purple, but he stepped back. "This isn't over," he said. "You're right. It's not." Friday night at Murphy's Bar, the same place Kate had celebrated her freedom, Adam was holding court at the pool table. He'd been drinking heavily, telling anyone who'd listen that I was a psycho stalker who'd ruined his life. I walked in at 9:30, still on crutches but moving better. The bar went quiet for a moment. Everyone knew the story by now. Small towns love drama, especially when it involves adultery and public humiliation. Rhonda, the bar manager, nodded at me. "Usual spots open, Eli." I ordered a beer and waited. It didn't take long. "Look who's here," Adam announced loudly. The computer nerd who can't keep his wife happy. The bar got quieter. This was the moment everyone had been waiting for, the confrontation between the wronged husband and the homewrecker. I turned to face him, beer in hand. "Adam, how's the job search going?" "Better than your marriage." "That's not saying much, considering my marriage is over and you're unemployed." A few people chuckled. Adam's face reddened. "At least I can satisfy a woman." "Is that what you call it? Because Kate seemed pretty unsatisfied to me. All those complaints about your performance in those text messages. What did she call you? 2-Minute Tim?" The crowd erupted in laughter. Adam lunged at me, but I stepped aside on my crutches. He stumbled forward and crashed face first into a table full of empty bottles. The entire bar burst into applause and laughter. Cell phones came out, recording Adam's humiliation as he struggled to his feet, covered in beer and broken glass. "You son of a—" "Careful," I said calmly. "You're already trending on social media. Do you really want threatens disabled man in bar to be your next viral moment?" Adam looked around at the crowd of phones pointed at him, at the faces laughing at his expense, and something broke inside him. He grabbed his jacket and ran for the door. "Don't be a stranger," I called after him. Rhonda bought me a drink. That was beautiful, she said. Kate came in here last week trying to get sympathy, saying you were stalking her. Nobody bought it. What did you tell her? That actions have consequences, and that if she wanted to play adult games, she better be ready for adult consequences. I raised my beer. To adult consequences. The final act came 2 weeks later at the town's monthly food truck Friday event. Kate had been staying with Lindsay, but their friendship was fracturing under the pressure. Kate blamed Lindsay for leaking the messages. Lindsay blamed Kate for dragging her into the mess. I was buying lunch from the taco truck when I heard Kate's voice behind me, loud and desperate. He's been stalking me, harassing me. He ruined my career out of spite. I turned to see Kate addressing a small crowd, tears streaming down her face. She looked terrible. Unwashed hair, wrinkled clothes, the polished veneer completely gone. Eli Merrick is a dangerous man, she continued. He hacked my phone, leaked my private messages, turned everyone against me. I'm afraid for my life. The crowd looked uncomfortable. A few people I recognized from the bar were shaking their heads. That's not what happened, Mrs. Worthington said, stepping forward with her phone. I have video of you and your boyfriend in Eli's driveway, acting like teenagers while he was recovering from surgery. That's private. You made it public when you posted about it on Facebook, Rhonda added, appearing from the crowd. And honey, nobody hacked your phone. Lindsay showed me the messages you sent her, asking her to lie to your boss about where you were. Kate spun around, looking for allies, but found none. Lindsay was nowhere to be seen. This is insane, Kate said. You're all taking his side because you're a cheater and a liar, said a voice I didn't recognize. A woman from Kate's yoga class stepped forward. You bragged about fooling around while your husband was in surgery. You thought it was funny. More voices joined in. Kate had apparently shared her story widely, expecting sympathy and support. Instead, she'd revealed herself to be exactly what she was, selfish, callous, and cruel. I stepped forward, and the crowd parted. Kate, I said quietly, you wanted freedom. You posted about it while I was unconscious. You celebrated it. You chose it. Eli, please, you made your choice. These are the consequences. Kate looked around desperately, but the crowd was dispersing. No one wanted to be associated with her anymore. She'd burned every bridge, alienated every ally. You can't do this to me, she whispered. I didn't do anything to you, I replied. I just stopped protecting you from yourself. Kate broke down completely then, sobbing in the middle of the town square while people walked past her like she was invisible. I turned and walked away, leaving her there with her freedom. 2 days later, I heard Kate had left town. Adam had already disappeared, apparently back to his parents' house in another state. Lindsay was telling anyone who'd listen that she'd never really trusted Kate anyway. I kept the house, the car, and my dignity. Kate got exactly what she'd asked for. Freedom from our marriage, freedom from responsibility, freedom from consequences. At least, she thought she had. She was finally free. From everything.